I wanted to speak a little bit about writing your new script. And I've been talking to a lot of people lately, a lot of spiritual people that have been practicing, the whole visualization. They're ready to let go of the old. They've done their dark night of the soul. You know, where you're, trying to steer your focus and you know, keeping your frequency high, right? By not allowing other people or the news stories, to affect you. As obviously, we're all learning as we go, and none of us have shifted before, so we're in brand new territory right now, and so we're really winging it. I mean, so you've got to give yourself a pat on the back just for that you've gotten this far, and you are um, believing in something that hasn't happened yet. And that's, there's a lot of faith there. Science is showing us, yes, that you can observe a particle, um, and then it can change into a wave, form, or it collapses, it changes form by your observation and your expectation of it, right? And so, yeah, we've got the science piece that's now coming in and supporting us and kind of balancing out the feminine was, when let's say you're a spiritual person and you believed in the whole, God, man in the sky kind of, it seemed very fantastical to very logical, linear people over here. They thought this was a bit of a real leap of faith, right? And a lot of people in those, we'll call them the very feminine world, the artists, the poets, the musicians, the people that are working with emotions and things that you can't see, the non-physical kind of world. They took a lot on faith, and they worked, anybody who's doing energy work, right? Myself, when I'm doing coding, when I'm in that space, I can't see it. So the logic piece is missing when I'm in that space. But I keep researching more and more and seeing studies that support more and more, that these weren't so far out. And the thing is the more you expand in your consciousness, the more you realize that um, these ones are the ones that are creating, and these ones are lagging behind. And this is not to judge the intellectual kind of, scientific community, but they're measuring the evidence. They're measuring the outpicturing the world in the tangibles, right? Which, as we know, the observer had to come in, observe it, and create an expectation, and then it took form that they could measure. So along the way, it took an awful lot of people that believed in something, and there was enough of them, and it gained momentum and momentum, and eventually had to show up so that it got to be measured here. So where we're at with our scripts right now, because all the old scripts, as we know, are coming out to be seen, they're dissolving, and we're letting them go. And some people are still caught up in their, I'm going to say, their piece of the rung on the ladder, of how we're climbing to that next level of consciousness. So let them play out their piece. That's not for us to decide. And we can't deny them the light on their script, whatever it is they're doing, even if it doesn't seem like it's where we are. I mean, we all signed up for a different role to play. And some of us are in the vanguard and writing the new script, right? And what that means is we are in that world where there's no tangibles yet. There's nothing there to show us. And in order to create, we have to create enough momentum there, right? You've got to buy in, because those particles that we want to be able to take those shapes that can eventually show up in the new world, they can't be sustained. There's no momentum if you keep going into doubt, or you're dropping back, or you're you kind of got one foot in and one foot out, that kind of thing. That's a chaotic kind of thing, right? And the way energy works, it needs some sort of sustained momentum, right? So yeah, we need to give ourselves opportunities to really spend time in that energy, even if it's not showing up, where it's just, it's the playground of it feels right. And that's all we've got, because we've got no visuals yet, right? We can do an internal visual. We can ask our guides and our angels and, our muses, whoever we want, our family of light, to give us pictures and assist us. And we can do our own little, if you want to draw or paint or write, whatever you want to do, to keep practicing the energy of it. That's what we're doing, is we're just going to keep giving it currency, because we need the new playground, needs the energy to come through us and to go into there. But this is one of the things I want to talk about today, is the currency that goes into the new playground. It needs to be taken out. Your energy is going to find that path of least resistance. And if you're spending all day long doing the old world things, right? We'll call it your 3D life, right? And you're going through the mechanics of all that, and you've set up this life, but you keep waiting for this new world to show up. It's not getting the currency. Now, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, right? But you do have to have enough faith and belief for this to show up. And this there's a lot more light in the newer, we'll call it the freedom, the peaceful, higher vibrational world that we're all trying to manifest, right? I say trying, it's allowing is actually probably better language around it. So it doesn't need 8 hours a day, right? It doesn't need that, but it needs enough of a guidance of where you it's running in the background, right? You want to give your teams and your, I want to say those little, I say we have like little librarians, but they're just, there's subconscious aspects of us. So, because we're so multidimensional, we've got multidimensional aspects of us in our consciousness. We're a collective, really, is what we are. All, past, present, future, it's all happening in the now. But this version of me, and then you as well, is in charge of how I'm steering all that consciousness. And I'm going to ask it to do things and ask questions. I'm going to say, can you show me some new ideas, or new things that I can put in this new reality that I'm dreaming in? What might this look like? Can you introduce me to a few people who might be in this new reality with me, the people that I can dream in this new world with? And, the more those sort of questions you're putting out there, you are allowing the librarians again to go out, and they have something to do in the subconscious. So that 8 hours that you're doing a job, maybe that you don't even care for, or you're just there, and you're these are a little more excited. So there's more passion for this, right? And you're really, this excites you more. So there is currency going there, right? So don't worry that this maybe is getting a bit more of your time. It's not getting your excitement necessarily. But what we have to do is practice not judging that life, because and I've got a good friend who's got a beautiful business, and she's an amazing creator. She makes things, and I don't want to say too much, because she may, I don't know if she watches my videos or not, but I know she knows about them. And she's been wanting to move on from that part of her life and to do something else. And so she wanted to sell this business. And the thing is, you get to a point where you maybe feel like there's a ball and chain on the business, and you're anchored in there. And I did, when I had my art gallery years ago, I felt stuck. After my daughter had passed, I was there for a few years, and I would just show up and go through the motions. And I really was, I don't want to say I was resenting. I guess maybe I was. I'm trying to remember the energy. Funny, I've cleared it all now, so I can't even conjure up the energy that I had, which was why it probably took so long to kind of come together for me to let it go. But I now realize that, there was an identity there, right? So that identity piece had to be healed, right? That's an unbraiding of whatever that was. You have to glean all the lessons that you set that up. You have to enjoy the fact that you created that, So your inner creator, that inner child that went, oh, Deborah, you created this gallery business, and and we were so clever, and we did this and this and this, and we met all these wonderful people. So it it doesn't want you to reflect on all those on that time as you're showing up every day, kind of resenting it and frustrated because it's you're still stuck doing this old world and you want to be in the new world. Um, there's a part of you, and even if it wasn't a great business, even if you're just sitting there working for someone else and you're doing a job you hate, there's an aspect of you that goes, but we created this. There's an aspect of you that said, um, you don't know what we've done in all these other lifetimes, and for us to get there where we were safe and protected, and we were a steady income, that's maybe a huge improvement over another lifetime right over here. So there's an aspect of you that really wants you to find gratitude in that job, right? In that, because the gratitude vibration in there, if you can do that in that 8 hour a day job, it's going to um, it's going to allow you to be a magnetic match for this new, right? It knows that you're not necessarily satisfied, right, with the job anymore, but that it's going to create some space because you're not holding, you know that this other one is shaping up, so you're just going to go to the job grateful that you were such a good manifester that you created this experience over here that has now showed you what it is you want to create over here. And so for all the reasons, you have to find and negotiate all the reasons why this was a perfect setup for you, right? Because there was lessons in it. There was maybe you had difficult people that you had to work with. Maybe you had difficult clients you had to work with. Maybe you had out in the sun, or had to battle the weather, or travel. You had to negotiate travel better, or you get really good at writing emails, or working with AI, whatever it is that was being forged in this job. There's likely an aspect of that. We'll call it the constellation, the construct of how you had to interact. There's going to be a theme there that really serves you in this new place. It may not look anything like that job, but the flavor of what it is you did, even if it's just your role within the office, right? Even if you were just the person that everybody counted on, right? Whatever that flavor is, there was something being forged there that your higher self and team set it up for you to be there, or you wouldn't be there. So that's the key. So you've got to find the gift in that. And then when you can be so grateful and just go, wow, I created that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that you served me. And I'm feeling that the gifts here are ready to be brought forward and expanded on over here. And so you're letting go of this lesson, but you're still seeing the gift. So that's the thing. You keep in the vibration that allows. Have to create space within you, and the density, the resentment, and all those lower frequencies. If they're still active, right? The frustration and all those things about what you hate about this and that situation. Um, if they're still active within you, there's a density there because they're not of the light, so they're not the higher frequencies, right? So they're going to hold you, they're taking up space, right? And so um, and so it's kind of work. It's like there's an anchor there, and it's keeping you down. And you're going to feel it in your body. Your body's going to feel heavier. So where you're trying to bring the light in over here and create space and freedom, it's getting there's it's getting blocked here. It's like it's got no movement, right? So it's the dam, the water that's wanting to flow is being dammed by all these frequencies of, frustration with this, and, feeling like you don't have any, freedom, or, there's, not appreciated, or feeling underpaid, or, overworked, whatever it is, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of things there that are going to be energetic blocks there that all need to just, it's, it's an interesting thing because it is, healing the identity and letting it go, because, we can't take our identity with us to this next octave, right? Um, we might think, oh, Deborah, I don't have an ego around the identity. I've let that piece go. And, trust me, because I had to go through all that as well. The ego, ego's an interesting one, because your ego is basically, it's your, it's just giving you reflections of where you're not free, right? So the judgments are part of the ego identity, which is really interesting. So if you were really good at your job, right, or really shitty at your job, it really doesn't matter either way, because you judged yourself this way or judge yourself that way. They're both stories. They're both active within your field there. So we have to find a way to deactivate them, and that's that. I always say that, the Mobius strip. If you've got a negative charge over here, you have to find the positive, and you bring, that figure eight energetics, you bring it back into 0 point, and you can collapse, the charge, and you can be in this non-duality, which starts creating the space, right? The more non-duality you're in, and my friend is practicing that beautifully, but I don't know how much she's written the new script, and I think that's where, and that is the hardest thing to do right now. So yeah, so letting go of those density things, all the pieces of the identity. Really congratulate yourself for being an amazing creator, though, of life. All your experiences you created. You've got to give yourself that power, right? That's the other thing, right? Is if you're not owning it, right? How do you expect to create new with it, right? Because you haven't owned it. You've kind of pretended that this is all going to happen to you, and you're ready to step forward and create. No, you created all of this, everything that happened to you, all the characters in your script, right? All the stories, all the things in your life, right? Good and bad, right? We're all part of your creations. And so own them, right? And allow them to empower you, right? Because that's the thing, when you go, gosh, I created that, like, holy crap, positive, negative, right? There, good and bad, you've done both. You bring them back, you go, wow, I am a divine being of light, and I've got the power to create. And I'm really excited about this new, something's going to shape up here, about this new reality that is unfolding and creating for me here, right? And so when you can practice it and writing it down, and I think that's what I'll do is I'm going to record a video where maybe I'll ask everybody to pause the video, and they can just go grab a notebook or a piece of paper and start writing as I'm coding, and we can start letting the universe know some of the things that we want to bring forward. Well, maybe not exact, just feelings and emotions, though, that we want to bring forward, and being really vague, and playing with ideas. And will I have this, or is it going to feel like this, or who's going to be with me? Are we going to be living in homes that are off the grid, energy efficient? What sort of situations are we going to be in, and be independent, and be more organic, maybe? I don't know, maybe, and are we, interacting with the galactic beings in a really casual way, right? Are we, is travel, I've kind of touched on some of these in other videos, but when we can start asking these questions and dreaming them in, they might sound so crazy, and we might go, Deborah, I've got bigger things to worry about than those sort of things, right? Well, that's the problem, right? Is if you're taking your life so serious and you've got big things to worry about, right? you've got a lot of currency going into a serious life, into all those creations that aren't around play, that aren't around fantasy, right? So right now, your new timeline, this new script is kind of a fantasy, right? So, something's right at the sacral there. That's all the relationships. That's interesting. I always say relationships are your relate ion ships. So lots of spheres of influences there. We just lifted. That's interesting. So, and that was probably a lot around identity stuff there, so that we can create that new script, right? Letting go of old pieces, old relationships. Yeah, that's interesting. Because we have to be fantastical, right? Because this is the interesting thing, and again, this is an analogy that I've used before. But if you're standing in one part of your garden and you're trying to water a garden bed, that's 15 feet away from you, and you hold your garden hose out, and you're not there because where you're at, you're not by the garden bed, right? But you're trying to reach the garden bed, right? You have to lift that garden hose up and angle it so high so that you can lob it over to the flowers and the things that are farther away. Because if you point it straight at it, we know how water goes. The gravity's going to pull it down before it reaches the garden on the other side, right? So it's not going to necessarily have the pressure. And that's the thing. Momentum is going to give it a bit more pressure, right? So the more we can sustain our new script energetics, right, we're going to have a bit more momentum to get there. But in the meantime, if we don't have a lot of time necessarily, and we're, shoot high, right? You really want to overshoot. So get fantastical, right? And let the universe interpret and bring you whatever. It's funny, it's right in front of my face. It's probably a metaphor right there. Yeah, it's right before our eyes. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so shoot high, get creative, get really dreamy with it, get silly. Let your inner child have some fun with it, because the juiciest creation energies come from play, right? So that's the thing. If we're too serious and we take our lives and everything so serious, we're not going to be getting the really good creator energetics into the new timeline. So, yeah, that's where we really need to have some fun with it, and some balancing happening here, and have some lots of questions for your higher self there. Breathe into it. The breath is one of those things where it's like it's not. It's kind of between your mind and matter. It's like it's not physical, it's the bridge, right? So when you breathe it, you're taking your idea about this new reality, right? And you're breathing it, and you're really giving it a bit more momentum so that it can become a waveform out into the field. And we know like attracts like in the field, and then it's going to show up. It's actually going to take some form, right? And the universe is going to interpret, the form it takes. And usually it's going to serve many people. So, but there's a lot of us dreaming in our new worlds right now. So, yeah. There's something really buzzy here. So just enjoy that energy, because this feels like creator energy here. Whew. I'm going to breathe it down. My top is spinning. So we are creating some spheres for your new creations, for your new timelines. Whew. There's some space being made. Oh, that's the other thing. The space. Freeing up space. Expand your field. Whew. Yeah, if you can sit and expand your field, and you're doing it from this beautiful new dreaming in of the new script writing aspect of you, right? Yeah, now you filled those, the older dense energy that's been lifted, because that's what we've been doing. We kept lifting there. You're going to feel it now with your new script energy. And don't just do it once and forget about it. Keep giving it momentum, give it energy, give it currency. Because you don't want to default back to the old dammed up, density, those old patterns, those old programs, the stuck energy, right? Because we can clear timelines and clear systems, and slowly they come back if we're not, it's like use it or lose it, right? Those are neural pathways. They can be pruned, but then they can be reactivated when you, because you're not, you're falling into the old patterns again. So yeah, there's got to be some sustained momentum there. Okay, thank you. Just see your grounding cords going straight down, right into the heart and core of Gaia. We're going to ask for this to be recorded and to assist you in your new earth creations, this new upgraded, optimized, light and empowered reality that we are unfolding and we are allowing to unfold through us with grace and ease. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew. Okay. Wow. That feels complete. I'm just waiting. Sorry for the magnetics are bringing my hands down. It's just gentle. Oh, there's an alignment with it being brought down. Oh, it's going right through me. Ooh, straight down. Okay. Well, it's in our lower chakras now. I've got a string connecting straight up through my crown, and it's going straight down. Wow. This is a really interesting one. Yeah. Okay. Something's dropping in. It's a download. You might be feeling this in your crown. It's dropped right down into our bases, though, which is interesting. So we're bringing it in. Again, everyone's going to experience this different. So how it shows up for you, it's going to use the pathways that you've got opened for this energy to travel within you. So it's going to have different belief systems, different stories, different, somebody might have an ascended master, somebody might have an angel working with them, somebody might have a galactic being working with them, right? And somebody might just be divine mother, divine father, whatever. However this shows up for you, it's all accurate. It's all right. It's all, it's going to use the old permissions that you've had. That's your old script. But we're going to get to the point where your script is going to be so expanded and enlightened and empowered that it's going to be able to use a lot of different language. And it won't be so exclusive, right? Ooh, the whole field is being cleared now. Yeah, so just let this energy flow around you. It's filling your field. We are really saturating our pillars of light here. So, yeah. Thank you. I think maybe I'll write in the description to to pause the video and have a pen and paper with you to write your script. And then maybe these codes will assist in the attention. So I still may do a separate one, but I believe that's what this was doing. So you probably could have held the idea or the dress rehearsal in your mind and allowed the codes, the expansion, all to have come through you this way as well. So our pillars getting cleared. Oh, that's nice. People would call this the river of life, but it's your divine flow, and your pillar is all. There's connections being made here, being flown. Lots of space. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I always think, let there be light whenever I'm like this. Yeah, it's so interesting. Sometimes my head gets pushed back where I'm practically looking at the sky, but sometimes my hands are up and my head is down, and it's bringing things in. So, okay. There. Try not to rush it. I tend to think Deborah needs to shorten things sometimes, and I just have to continue trusting. Bringing things around. Okay. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, that was complete. The hands came apart. So hopefully this helps you. It helps everyone create our new reality. And because we're all doing it together, and my dreaming in the new is activated within me, and I fully expect it. And so I'm no longer a foot in the old world. I'm fully committed into this new world. So it's a nice space that I get to hold with others. And in this, our like attracts like in the field, and the energy themes that'll show up for us are going to be collective interpretations, but we'll each have our individual experience within those. I hope that makes some sense. So it's really nice to do it together. It really is. It's because there's a more of a coherence to these sorts of ideas in the field when enough of us do it. So yeah, sending you lots of love. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.